welcome to the healing art of modern Oponopono. Really, I labeled this when we started. I labeled this as law of attraction on steroids. I know that sounds really weird. We call this law of attraction on steroids because really, when Peter and I started discussing this a while back, that's how he told me when he came out of advanced Oponopono training with Joe Vitale. He said, that's really how this is. Some of you know me and have had classes with me on Oponopono where I really teach it from the art of forgiveness. And I've had wonderful things happen in that realm. But we're going to talk about the law, how Oponopono is used in the law of attraction today. Peter, why don't you introduce yourself?
So first, hi everyone. My name is Pete Gagliardo. I've started my career quite a few years ago now, and I've always been on the search for understanding really on how to heal the mind, body, and soul. And through all my education, I became certified with the National Guild of Hypnotists as a hypnotist. I've taken the advanced course from Joe Vitale on Oponopono. I've even gone as far as becoming a cognitive behavioral therapist to really help understand how we can help ourselves really grow as individuals. And through that, I took NLP classes and EFT and TFT classes to really expand on what we're capable for ourselves. And by going through all of that, really helped me understand what you're going to learn today on Oponopono, because it can really be used in any form of healing art for yourself and others. So it was nice to meet everyone.
All right, thank you, Peter. And I am Kevin Martin. I'm an author, professional speaker, seminar leader, entrepreneur. I've run several businesses. Award-winning hypnotist as of this past year, which is something I'm really proud of. Master practitioner of NLP, that's neuro-linguistic programming. But basically, I'm the founder and coach of Positive Effects Coaching and Hypnosis. Now, I have learned this whole Oponopono process in a couple different ways in the various things I do in training. And this whole Oponopono prayer is what we're going to be talking about today. And I've taught this and used this for many years with such great success from the point of view of letting go of feelings and memories that I have towards other people. Now, this is going to be very different, and it is very different, and I'm so glad that Peter came into my life. Peter and I are both in the same, we're both hypnotists, so we've known each other for a while anyway. But he contacted me because he's heard that I've done some things with Oponopono. But when he was telling me all about this, and I said, oh, I really want to do this with you. So here we are. Okay, so Oponopono. By the way, my one objective, my biggest objective for all of you here is that you leave here and you be able to pronounce it. Oponopono. Ho'o means to make. So if you ever hear any Hawaiian words, now I get a lot of my Hawaiian words from Hawaii Five-0. Each thing is titled with a Hawaiian word. But if you ever hear any Hawaiian words, ho'o means to make. And in this case, pono means to make it right. And when you say it more than once, when you say it twice, it's an emphasis on right. So I say right for you and right for me. That would be the pono. Okay. So Oponopono means to make right for you and right for everyone else. How's that sound? So that's what Oponopono is. Now, how do we make things right?
And this is where Ho'oponopono really helps ourselves. It's really taking 100% responsibility for our life and everything we experience in it. And really that boils down to two main points, right? We see something we don't like in our life, we can either change, or we can stay stuck and either be miserable, feeling down, discouraged. But knowing that we have that choice to make a change when we want is important. Knowing that no matter what happens in our life, we played some kind of role in it, even if we don't know what that role was originally. And with that comes the understanding that Ho'oponopono takes a lot of energy from around us. That's where life is sacred, right? In our life, the trees are alive, animals, other people, the air around us. There's energy everywhere. And to take that life energy as being sacred is important for our growth and the growth of others. The next part of it's our natural state to be at zero is true. When we are born, we're born with infinite possibilities. When we're born, we could be doctors, we could be lawyers, we could be an actor, an actress, a stunt double. We could be anything we ever desire to be. It's not until we start getting memories from our parents, our grandparents, friends, other family members, where they go, no, you can't be a doctor. No one in our family's ever been a doctor. No one in our family's ever gone to college, so I don't know why you think you can go to college. Or we've always been poor. Money's hard work. It doesn't grow on trees. No, those are all things I heard growing up. And those memories really limit us away from that infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
And that's why with Ho'oponopono, we must always be cleaning those memories to bring us back down to that zero state, or that state of infinite possibilities. Because, I guess we can go next one.
Okay.
If we think of this blank screen as our zero state, right? You could write whatever it is on there that you desire, whether it be more money, better relationships, better health. That's our goal, is to get it so you have that infinite possibility for everything in your life. It's not going to be limited by thoughts or feelings, emotions, beliefs you've had in the past, because we're going to teach you how to let those go.
Okay.
So bring you back to this perfect state of infinite possibilities for what you desire.
Okay, Pete, just so I get straight, this blank slate is how we come into the world.
How we come into the world.
So before anything our parents did, or anything that we experience around us, so we're an open book, a blank slate. So as we start to grow up, we have all these things happening to us. We're told that this or that, and we get all these restrictions. And we have experiences that may not be so good, and create these beliefs and stuff like that that don't work for us when we're an adult, right?
Right.
So the idea is to get to a blank slate. Now, is this a blank slate cleaning to get to this zero limit, this whole blank slate? We got to clean everything in our lives?
So the great part is we can focus on certain areas of our life at a time. I always love the sports analogy of, let's say a football player, they go, I'm in the zone, right? They know the play. The play is like, you're going to go out, you're going to cut right. But for whatever reason, they cut left instead, and they end up getting a touchdown. It's because they were in the zone. They were in the moment. They were going off inspiration, going, you know what? This feels right for me to do versus that.
Right.
And it works for a very specific area. So can you work to clean off everything? Yeah. But focus on what you desire most, and that's what it's going to clean.
Okay. So before we get right in, I just wanted to recap. So if I don't have to clear everything in my life.
No, you'll find that even clearing, let's say you want more money, Kevin, right?
Yep.
And you start cleaning on that first limiting belief that maybe money doesn't grow on trees and it's hard to get. By clearing that one memory, you find it takes a lot less effort to succeed than it does to fail.
Yeah.
And when you clean, it'll take care of that one memory, which will turn into another memory. And each time you clean, it just cleans it more and more. You know, if you think of it on a whiteboard, right? You put a marker on there and you make a big line. And then you do one swipe. Most of that marker may go away, but you may have the few smudges left.
Yeah.
You clean again, it just takes more away. Clean it again, more.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually there's no line, but then you have another line come up behind it. And you start doing it again.
So it's constant cleaning. But, you know, when we clean that one area, like you said, money, we can then set our intentions after that.
Correct. Yep.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about the story of self-identity. Now, some of you may have heard this about Oponopono, about Dr. Hugh Len, and some of you have never heard about Oponopono. So I'm going to tell you about this. A few years ago, that Joe Vitale wrote this book about this guy named Dr. Hugh Len, and Dr. Hugh Len was in Hawaii. He's a psychiatrist in Hawaii. And there was this place, a psychiatric ward for the criminally insane, right?
Yeah.
And so they had the worst of the worst criminals in all of Hawaii. I mean, serial killers, murderers, rapists, everything, the worst of the worst. And the behaviors of these criminals were just terrible, and the morale in the psychiatric ward was terrible. They were, you know, the retention rate was really low. They couldn't keep anybody. They couldn't run the place. They lost their psychiatrist. They went looking for psychiatrists, and they came to Dr. Hugh Len, and he said this strange thing. He says, "I'll do it only if I don't see any one of these inmates, any one of these patients in person or in group." Now, of course, they thought that was insane, and they went and looked for a lot of others, and they just couldn't get anyone else, right?
Yeah, no one else wanted to work there because it was just so horrible of a place for the inmates as well as the staff.
Right. It was worse than the worst. And he had these really strange requirements. They said, all right, they gave in. You don't have to meet with anyone. You don't have to meet with the criminals, the patients in person, one-on-one, or in groups. So he went in there and he sat in his office all the time, every day, and he went through the records of each and every inmate, a patient in there, you know, and they had everything about everything they had done, what they got arrested for, everything they had done while they're in there. And he just sat and went through their records all day long. Never saw anyone. And after 3 months, the behaviors started to change. The behaviors of the patients started to get a lot less violent, more cooperative. The staff morale started to raise up again. People were getting happy to be working there. They stopped, you know, the turnover cut down, and people weren't leaving anymore. And after 18 months, I believe, they were down to only 2 patients. Now, it was thought that these guys would never leave this ward. They were the worst of the worst, and their behavior was terrible. And after a year and a half, only 2 of the patients were still there. They all had moved out. Some paroled, a lot of them to, you know, a lot lesser places, you know, regular prison, whatever it was. Their behaviors had changed. It was amazing. And all he did was this process we're going to show you, this self-identity Oponopono prayer. That's all he did every day. Peter was talking about cleaning. What he did was he cleaned on everything, all the behaviors, and we'll talk about how that was done.
Yeah, and it's amazing to think if, you know, this doctor, right, Dr. Hugh Len, could heal, right, an entire criminal psychiatric ward without ever seeing a single client. What can it do for you in your everyday life? That's probably nowhere near as hard as that.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I'll tell you a story about what it's done for me in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about the law of attraction. Probably just about everyone here knows what it is, but I'll explain it. I'll explain it a little right now. So what the law of attraction is it's a theory that, you know, we attract things we think about, and it was brought real popular in the past decade or so by a book and a movie called The Secret. A lot of people have seen this. A lot of people have read this. Now, the movie purports that you think about what you want and you will attract it to you. You think about what you want and you'll attract it to you. And in some ways that's very true. But one of the problems with it is lots of people have seen this movie. Lots of people have said, no, doesn't work. It's crap. It's just not working. And there's a reason for that. You know, I do know some people that tried it out right away and they got what they wanted. And I know a lot more people that tried it out and it didn't work for them. And once the people try it out once or twice and it doesn't work, they say, no, that doesn't work. That's crap. But you know what the biggest problem is? You do attract what you think of. If you're thinking of it in a very pure way, meaning there's no baggage there, right?
Yeah.
There's no self-doubt. There's no thoughts around there that aren't pure with that thought, that basically don't complement that thought. So limiting beliefs is one thing, right? And fears is another.
Yeah, that's big.
Right, that's big, yeah. Yeah, first of all, one of the fears is, hey, if I set my intention to this and it comes through, then what? Oh my goodness, this is wild that it'll work. I don't know if I can handle that, you know. But a lot of the fears is people put out for, you know, they want this job, they want this money, they want this, you know, they might fear that they couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
right?
Could change them,
Because of a limiting belief says, hey, or it might be something in the back of your mind says, hey, you don't deserve this.
Yeah.
That's very common too. So what does Oponopono do for us? As Peter said, it clears these things, because all of that that I just mentioned comes from memories. You can't have a negative thought. You can't have a limiting belief. You can't have a fear about certain things that you're going after unless you have memories in the past from them. And these memories stem from your childhood mostly, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, and you may not even realize you have them until that moment comes, which is shocking for a lot of people to go, you know what, I didn't even realize I had that in me.
Yeah.
It's good to clean those ones especially too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the law of attraction is something that purports, by the way, it didn't come from The Secret. There was, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, we had this New Thought movement. Most people know Napoleon Hill. He was on the far end, the end of the New Thought movement. But there are a lot of books written that said, hey, all I did was really think hard about this and it came to me. Okay, of course we know that it's not just the thought, you know, but when you think purely and constantly about something, you end up acting on it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not just thoughts alone, but we're going to tell you some really incredible stuff about how Oponopono has worked.
Yeah. So this is really cool because if any of you are helping practitioners or even in your own life, you may really relate to this quite a bit. In our lives, we really have 3 states we can live in. The first state being in memory, right? That's where most of us live. You know, when we live in a memory, it really blocks us from receiving the energy, the direction to get what we want, because we're gonna go, I don't deserve that. I want it, but my parents said I could never have that, or my friends, you know, they said it could never happen. Those memories aren't our true selves. Those are just other things people have told us that we've come to believe. So when you have that memory, it just puts a block on that energy to get what you want.
Well,
So,
Peter, I got a good example of this because I think we've all heard, we look through our own filters, and that's what memory means. It means that, the way you experience anything in the world, you're filtering it by your own beliefs, your own values, and the experiences you've had in the past that shape the way you're seeing things. That's just how it is, but it all comes from memory. So when Peter says we're living in memory all the time, that's another example of what it means.
right. And when you live in that memory, you're stuck in a certain place, time, or emotion. And when we use those emotions, those thoughts, those beliefs from the past to try and predict our future. But in reality, the past is done and over with. The future hasn't come yet. Just because I tripped on a stick yesterday doesn't mean I'll trip on a stick tomorrow. And it's by freeing that connection from your past to your future makes a big difference. Because we no longer mimic our past behavior for future things we want to attract. And once we start to clean that and clear that, we start to allow inspiration to come in, right? Inspiration is the point of our lives where we're receiving that wisdom, where we go, you know what? I really want to attract a better relationship with my family. And the energy starts coming in going, you know what? All these things are going to happen. You're going to start inspiring yourself to go, maybe I should reach out. Maybe they're going to reach out to me. You just let it happen and you accept it because you know it's going in the right direction.
Right.
Because we start just to follow that guidance that's happening because we're moving forward, we're growing. And as we do that, for what that thing we're working to attract will bring us back now to the zero state, right? The state we are naturally born into, the state of our true self, of unlimited possibilities. This is where our highest power, right, our divine will communicate with us going, you know what, keep going forward, keep growing. You're getting what you want. You deserve what you want. You've earned what you want. And you're just really soaring to get the things you desire so much more because you're using that wisdom versus that memory.
Yeah, that's really great. And we've all had those times of inspiration, but what we didn't realize is, something got let go for the inspiration to come in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when you're looking for something really hard and you can't find it anywhere, or you're looking for something physically or actually mentally and you can't find it anywhere, and you finally let go and all of a sudden it pops in. Okay, that's a little like that, how that works. And so when we're cleaning and clearing, and the more they get cleaned and cleared out, the more we allow for room for inspiration. And it's really an amazing thing when it happens.
It really is, and it happens really quick too, because the moment you start cleaning, the inspiration is like knocking at the door going, I'm ready to come in. And once you just allow it to come in, it's just effect that just continues on going, memory clean, more inspiration, memory clean, more inspiration. And it snowballs so quickly.
Yeah, it is amazing. Okay, let's move on. Made up of cells. Tell us about this, Peter.
So this is really cool because this shows us how we are down to a cellular level, right? Our bodies are made up of 100 billion cells, give or take. And if we're living in memory, right, we're living in that stuck cell, that abnormal cell of not who we truly are. And it's not just one cell, it's the entire body. All 100 billion cells are stuck in that memory, which really stops you from growing. Because, where that memory blocks inspiration, it blocks the cell from growing, and the cell just stays the way it is. When you allow inspiration to enter in, now that entire cell changes from an abnormal cell to a growth cell. And it starts growing and expanding to where it affects your conscious mind, your super conscious mind, all the way up to the ultimate divine highest power, so you can receive what you're attracting. So if you stay in the memory, you get stuck there. It just ends. The cell doesn't grow. You just get stuck in that chaos and that misery and that anxiety, into that depression, because it's not allowing that energy to come in.
So you're saying that the Oponopono not only affects our thought process, it affects us physically and our cells?
Physically, mentally, spiritually, our soul, mind, body,
Wow.
it affects everything. And if you think about it in this way, right, you allow inspiration to come into your body. You're not allowing it to enter in one cell. You're allowing it to enter 100 billion cells in your body. So imagine all that energy now being projected for what you want.
Oh,
That's
wow.
powerful, because
Okay.
having 100 billion things on your side,
Yeah.
you're unstoppable.
That sounds like it'd be unstoppable. And I think that's when you engage your entire body at a cellular level, that's where the vibrations come in, isn't it?
That is where the vibrations come in, yeah.
And that's where we attract things. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, this when you first showed this to me, this really did inspire me, because there's something I used to teach here, and there's something called the map of the world. And basically, this is how we see the world, but how we see the world is we're restrained by our experiences, by our beliefs and our values. Basically, everything that was shaped from memories, right? Yeah. All those experiences and all the meanings we give, it's all in the memories. So I used to, talk about the map of the world. And we're limited by our past experiences, our judgments, and our beliefs. And we have a limitation, we have boundaries of what we can do and what we can interpret, right? We have these boundaries, and their boundaries are a limitation. You and I experiencing an accident together, because of my experiences and my beliefs, I am bound to see it one way, and you would see it another way, okay? So what happens is, if we get expanded, that ring, that boundary gets expanded, the more we learn, the more we experience, and the more we let go. In other words, the more we do Ho'oponopono, which allow us to let go of things, experience inspiration, and learn from the inspiration, and those boundaries grow bigger and bigger. And till we become completely open and non-judgmental. And, basically we become open beings. And that's that white screen that we showed earlier. Yeah. Right? So when you're cleaning, you take those boundaries that you have to start off with, and you expand them until you're finally wide open. Now, zero limits in your entire life, probably not going to get there. That Dr. Yulin said, that's only something temporary you might get to once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Once in a while. There's just so much cleaning. So cleaning is a lifetime thing, according to Dr. Yulin. Yeah. The idea that the map is a territory, meaning you start to see things the way they really are without projecting any of your memories on them.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously you start to attract things without any of your memory projections blocking it.
Yeah, without your own limitations.
Without your own limitations.
You can attract whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can be your true self at your best self.
Exactly. Well, that sounds great. So that's how I saw it in that, with the map of the world in NLP, and it makes so much sense. It applies right here too. Yeah. That's really cool. Tell us how to reach the divine, Peter.
So this is, for me, kind of changed up how I thought about things, right? Growing up, you would always think that if I want to go to my highest power, right, to the divine, I got to go directly to the source. But kind of like how we talked about earlier, it doesn't work that way. Consciously, we have to go down to our subconscious mind, to our inner child, right? And that's where those memories, the blocking, the things that are holding us back are stored. So when you go to our inner child, our subconscious mind, and we start cleaning those memories, that's the moment when that energy gets cleared, like the floodgates open, and that energy soars up to your highest power, your divine. And it goes, you know what? You want this, you earned it, you got it, you deserve it. And it just soars all this energy down to you.
Wow.
And you notice really quickly, little things around you are different. And it's only by going down first, then up. I always in the past thought it would you go directly to the source. But when you have those blockages, you can't go up. You can't open or you can open a closed door, but if the door is locked, you can't get through it until you unlock it and open it. And that's really what going to the inner child does. It opens that door so you can have that communication.
So you can have that communication, and then the energy comes all the way back down.
All the way back down.
That is amazing.
And then it just keeps going in a nice cycle where it just continue. The more you clean, the more energy comes your way. The more you clean, the more energy, the more you want, the more you desire just keeps rolling into your life. And it happens really quickly for a lot of people.
Wow. That's amazing. And that's when that inspiration comes in and everything else, huh?
Yep. Yeah. When the highest power, the infinite energy comes down, the inspiration comes in, where it goes, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go left instead of right today.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it popped into your mind and you do it and good things happen.
Wow.
So,
wow. What you've been waiting for. Here's the mantra. But before we get into this, I want to tell you a few stories about how this is working in my life. Since I've met Peter, I started doing Oponopono a little different way. But before I started doing it, I was really featured on the forgiveness part.
Yeah.
And I taught the forgiveness part. And I'll tell you, just doing it, forget the law of attraction. If you're just letting go of things that you're holding on to around other people, things that you may not even, things that you're not even aware of, but if you have a negative feeling towards somebody else. So I taught this for years, and when I first started teaching this, I had a student in one of my classes. He said, I was doing this about my son, who I hadn't talked to in years. Our relationship was really terrible. And so I decided to just do this whole Oponopono mantra around my son. And he said 2 days later, my son called me out of the blue for the first time. We met up and we now have a relationship. It's just starting, but it was like a miracle, he said. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. With my clients, I usually do a form of Oponopono with them. And I had one lady who, she worked, I think it was like 2 or 3 jobs to support her family. And she was like, I don't want that in my life. But she goes, I don't think I deserve anything else. And working with her, she cleared a lot. And now she opening up her own gym. And she's already made more money than she has in 6 months of work.
Wow.
And she's not even open yet. She's just attracting that energy to her. And she's embraced this full force to the point where it's night and day when I see her. It's one when she first came in, she was very sad, didn't really want to do anything. Everything was hard. Now when you see her, she looks like a completely different person. She's standing upright. She's more talkative. She's like, I'm going out talking to people. She goes, this is stuff I never thought I could do before. She goes, and I didn't even realize what was holding me back. She goes, I still don't know what was holding me back. But she goes, but it's gone now.
It's gone.
And she attracts so much, and that energy she gives off, people feel that, and they're like, I want to be near her more.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where a lot of her success comes from. It's that energy from doing Oponopono and the phrases and everything else. So
let me tell you some of my own stories, because, after we met and I started doing a whole Oponopono on certain things, and just a couple of weeks ago, I started doing them real specific things. After I started doing it, and I have, some monetary things that I want and everything, like a couple of days after I started this, right, I got a message from my daughter. She had our hot tub on the market for 3 months we got like one bite. It was a window shopper. He never returned anything. And all of a sudden she says, hey, Dad, there's this one guy, he's looking for it. And, you know, I wasn't thinking anything of it because, you know, we've had these window shoppers come in, and what he was saying, he was talking about other people picking it up or something like that. I didn't give it any hope, but I contacted him. Turns out this guy's from Maine. He really wants it. He has the exact same model, but it's damaged. And he's going to come down, pick it up. What it was is he wanted us to find somebody to move it. And it turned out right. And all of a sudden, this morning, I've got $2,000 in my pocket because of it. And we had gone months. You might say that's a coincidence. Well, I say, yeah, it could be a coincidence, but I started a couple weeks ago. I gave a one-day seminar, and a little over a week from the seminar, I only had 3 people signed up. It was a one-day workshop that I was charging some good money for. And all of a sudden, I started doing this whole Oponopono practice, this specific one that Peter taught me. And on the day of the seminar, the last person registered, and it was one more person than I wanted. You know, we had a cozy room. That was amazing. That blew me away. All of a sudden, I got so many people in there. And if that weren't enough, after I had started it, and I was talking to some people that were involved with one of my clients who I hadn't seen in a little while, and I had heard that he went completely off the hook, and all sorts of things happened. So I started doing Oponopono on him because I want the best for him. And then I got to talk to some people just last week. They had already called me ahead of time to let me know that this person by himself, a young man, turned things around. By himself, he says, I need to take responsibility. And it's just amazing. So maybe one of those by itself was a coincidence, but all 3 of those within a 2 to 3 week period of me doing something specific with them, that's amazing stuff. It really thrills me.
Yeah.
It really thrills me. So this stuff is powerful when used in the right way. It really, really is. It was powerful with me cleaning on people, with me cleaning my judgments and everything I had on them to forgive them. That was powerful. I mean, I started looking at people in a certain way. I started looking at people with more love. I saw them stripped out of any judgments that I had on them.
Yep.
And that was beautiful in itself. But boy, using it in the way I'm using it now is just tremendous.
Yeah. It's powerful.
It's powerful. Anything happened to you recently with this?
So yeah, so with me, life always seems to get in the way for a lot of things. I mean, with my family, you know, my brothers, my cousins, you know, we've all got pulled in the different directions. You know, my brother has his son who's, you know, maybe 6 months old. I got my daughter who's a year and a half. So as anyone with kids knows, you take a lot of time. You know, and my cousin's always working. And for probably the last 2 years, 3 years, we've always done the whole, we should get together. Yeah, let's plan on it. And life would just pull us all in different directions. And it was, you know, started doing the whole Oponopono. And one of the things I was focusing on was reconnecting with my family. And out of the blue, my brother calls me up and he's like, Pete, I got this amazing idea. I think you, me, and your cousin should get together every Monday to play music, just so we can get together, have some pizza, relax, just so we reconnect with each other.
Wow.
And
it's out of the blue, huh?
Out of the blue.
That's amazing.
And again, this is something for years. We'd be like, yeah, we should do that. We should always get together. We should always grab a bite, play music. And it never happened. And sure enough, probably about a week after me focusing on it, just out of the blue, bam, there he is calling me. And we've been doing it now for a while, and it's just phenomenal because every week I enjoy it so much more. Yeah. I'm really grateful for the time we have now. You know, my cousin's just starting to learn to play guitar, so we're teaching him basic stuff. And watching him progress every single week has been amazing for us. And as time I think back, I've lost all this time in the past. I'm glad I'm not losing it now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it fills my heart. It really does. Yeah, and it all started really with these phrases.
Yeah.
Now, everyone always heard the 4 phrases.
Yeah, and it says 5 there.
It does say 5 there, which is awesome because the 5th phrase is one that they teach in the advanced Oponopono class. Which, so
we're definitely going to be teaching you that tonight.
Right, because it's cool. It takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
You know, the first one is an important one, right? It's I love you. That phrase, you know, you're saying I love you because you want the healing. I love you for the cleaning. I love you for my life, for this rejuvenation I'm getting, for this stuff I'm attracting. You know, you're saying that because you're lovable. No matter what you really feel, you are lovable. And the more you admit that you are lovable, because I'm sure if every single one of you went back to your 9-year-old self, your 10-year-old self, and looked at them, you go, man, he's really or she's really lovable.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And
you're
so
right.
it's important to remind that you love yourself or I love you. You know, and that brings on to the I'm sorry part. Now, this is one where you learn a lot of people go, I got nothing to be sorry for.
Right. Yeah. I've had that. I've had people say that.
Yeah. You know, but it goes back to taking 100% responsibility for everything we have ever experienced. So you're saying sorry for any part of your role in whatever situation you're in. You know, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life, but we all play a role in it. So we're just saying, I'm sorry for any role I had in this. You may not even know what role, but whatever role you had, I'm sorry. You know, because once you ask for sorry, when you say sorry, you're really bringing on the forgiveness. So that's when you go, please forgive me. You know, you're asking yourself to forgive yourself for any part that helped create this past belief, this thought pattern, this feeling. You know, like any good friend, right? We're always quick to forgive others.
Right.
But we're not always so quick to forgive ourselves. And we deserve that forgiveness just like everyone else. And it's one where we can't forget that. Because once you say you admit you're lovable, you're sorry for any role, asking for forgiveness for any part in this, you're going to notice an immediate difference. In that moment, you're going to feel different. And you're going to be thankful. You're going to be so thankful and grateful that the last one is thank you. Thank you for this healing feeling. Thank you for healing this issue. Thank you for healing this belief. Thank you for removing this old unwanted belief, thought, issue, feeling. You know, it brings it full circle.
Right.
Because it's going to happen.
Right. That's wonderful. You know, first of all, you know, when you first started explaining this to me, it's like, okay, when I've done this and when I've taught this, I was teaching, okay, you're saying these phrases to the divine. But now I understand, now that you showed us, you don't directly have that connection until you started cleaning.
With your inner child.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, you know, a belief of mine is that we all have the divine within us. And so when we say, I love you, and I'm sorry, and please forgive me, and thank you, you know, basically in a way, as above, so is below, we're saying it to the divine or the divinity that we have as part of us, that we're given us at birth, right? So I think most people can you know, catch on to that. But I'll tell you, the I'm sorry, by the way, can these be said in any
order?
Any order.
There's no specific way to say it.
Fantastic. So I got comfortable with saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And I say, I'm sorry, a little bit like that. But, you know, when I say I'm sorry, I'm thinking, you know I wasn't born to be this way. I was born that clean slate. I was born that way. And I allowed all this stuff to get on me. So I'm sorry. I'm better than this. I know I'm better than this. So I say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right. And then when I say, please forgive me, I know what I'm really asking for. Please clean this. Please wipe this out from me so I don't have to deal with this anymore. And then I love you and thank you. It's like there's the two most incredible emotions we can feel.
They really are.
They are. And when I'm saying saying thank you, I projected ahead of time, hey, this is getting cleaned. I know it's getting cleaned. I believe it's getting cleaned. So I'm saying thank you right in the moment.
Right in the moment.
Right in the moment.
It's important because, you're going to feel, it could be a subtle shift, but you're going to feel something in the moment.
Right.
And it's going to let you know that something's happening.
Right.
Now, for some people, I know the first time I ever experienced this, the first time I said it, I didn't really feel that much. But I said it to myself a few times. And each time I said it, I felt it more and more.
More and more.
It's not limited. You don't just say it once.
Yeah.
You could say it, 5, 10 times in a row because you're gonna feel it.
Yeah. You gotta and that's a big thing. You gotta feel it. When you say I love you, feel that love you have for yourself and the divine at the same time if you want. When you say I'm sorry, think about what you're sorry for. You're sorry that you had to feel this way for some reason. You've got a memory back there. It may not have been your fault the memory's in there, but you know what? You're apologizing to yourself. You're saying I'm sorry for anything that I might have thought, done, said, or whatever that's part of this. Right? And please forgive me. You're asking, please let this be cleaned out. And then thank you is the gratitude you have for having it done. Before we move to the next page, we're going to just work on these 4. I want you all to think about something. Think about something you either want or something that's been bothering you. It doesn't matter. By the way, this is how it works for me. I look at something that I want to get to or that I want or someone that I'd love to help. And I look at it and I look for what the unresourceful thoughts, the negative thoughts might come up. Maybe there's a fear, maybe there's doubt, maybe there's, that undeserving thing, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe this or that. So I look at it and I think of those things and then I start off. And then we say this. So what I want us to do, you're all on mute and that's probably best because I want you to say this out loud. Don't worry if there are other people in your room. They'll have no idea what you're doing. I want you to say it out loud or in your head. The 4 phrases as we have stated here. So think of something right now and follow along with me and we'll say it together. Think of that. Think of what about it that's not working for you, that's not feeling good. And remember, you're projecting this to yourself. You're saying these words to yourself. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please clean whatever it is that's around this. And thank you. Thank you for allowing this to be cleaned, allowing my memories to be cleaned. I love you. I love you for this healing, this cleaning. I love you for my life in this rejuvenation. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for any part of my role in this. I'm sorry because I know I can be better than this. Please forgive me. Please forgive me since I don't know what part of me or my past helped create this. And please clean it all out. And thank you. And thank you for this healing I know that I'm getting right now, right in this moment, for this feeling, this issue or belief that's being cleaned. Thank you for removing this feeling, issue, or belief. Thank you for removing this feeling, issue, or belief. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll bet you.
I can feel it right here.
You can feel it, yeah. Oh, I bet you most of you can feel something. And whatever you were thinking about, you're probably a bit transformed in the way you're thinking about it now. You probably cleaned some things. It's probably really, really good. Now we'll take questions at the very end, so hold them up. Little story. I said you can do it on some people. You can do it on some, persons. Either something maybe you feel some, I don't know, doubt or whatever about them. I'll tell you a little story. When I started doing this a few weeks ago, and I was doing it for certain things.
What?
I realized that my wife had been sick. She'd been sick for 2.5, 3 weeks. She'd gone to the doctor. She had the flu. She had a virus, and she'd gone to the doctors, and she had taken all her medications, and it should have been changing, and it still wasn't. She was still very, very ill. So I said, okay, happy, healthy Brenda. And that's what I was thinking. And what came up in my mind is, okay, well, whatever doubts I might have had, she's really been taken over by this. She, I had some doubts that she'd be getting out of it soon, and, everything else. So I started clearing, and wouldn't it be just a day or two afterwards that she started really on the upswing? Now, she had been sick for almost 3 weeks, and it wasn't getting any better when I started this. So could be just coincidence, but I had 4 things happen within the last 3 weeks. And any one of them by themselves a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
But try to sell me on the fact all 4 of them were coincidences. No way. There's no way. By the way, how does me clearing something out affect anybody else? I think you've explained that pretty well, huh?
When we have that growth energy, it affects everyone around us, you know? And it's amazing how when we start healing ourselves, everyone in our lives naturally gets healed from this process.
Mm-hmm.
You can't heal yourself and not affect other people because you're attracting what you want. And I don't know everyone out in the world, but I can almost guarantee most people want good things for other people.
Yeah, most people do.
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone on here wants good things for their friends, their family, everyone in their life. So when you start attracting what you want, that includes the good things for everyone around you.
Yeah, it is just awesome. It is just awesome. So I hope you had a good experience with just the 4 phrases. You ready for the 5th phrase? I tell you, I didn't know the 5th phrase until Pete and I got together, and it is really cool.
Well, let's go.
So the 5th phrase is awesome. The 5th phrase is I forgives myself. And it is forgives myself because the first 4 go down to that inner child all the way up to our highest power, our divine, right? Now it's the I is your divine is forgiving you as a person, So the divine forgives me. And as we forgive ourselves from that energy, that right there is the moment where the floodgates are open, and that's the divine, the highest power going, you're getting what you want.
Wow.
Because without forgiveness, right, it's a freedom. It frees us from everything that was holding us back.
Yeah.
That's what forgiveness does. So when, the highest power forgives us, that freedom just unleashes energy on us.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. I forgives myself. And when you say it that way, you're going to be reminded that I is not yourself, but it is the higher power.
Yeah.
That's just really cool. Oh, there are cleaning tools. So it's not just the mantra, huh?
No, that's the most common thing a lot of people associate with Oponopono. But that's just the tip of the iceberg of what you're able to do to heal yourself.
Wow.
you know, the 5-phrase mantra, or 4 for most people, but you guys are special. You do that on its own, amazing things are gonna happen. You add these other cleaning tools in there, and you're gonna be blown out of the water how quickly you're shifting your energy, because each one plays an important role in attracting what you want.
Well, cool. So we got something called a HA process, which we're going to explain in a little while, but it's a breathing process.
Yeah.
And then we have something called blue solar water, which we'll also get to explain in a little while, right next, actually. And then there's something about redefining your reality, meditation, most of us know, and recording tracks. So let's take a look at these.
Yeah.
One at a time.
So the HA process, right? HA really stands for the breath of the divine. And is infusing our body, our mind, our soul with the energy from the divine. And how it works is, you know, you hold your hands in mudra, which is usually like your thumb, pointer finger together.
Yeah.
So you make the little O on each hand. Now, I was taught 2 different ways. One way is you hold them separate. Another way is you link them together. And when you link them together, it creates that infinite energy, because it's that infinite symbol.
Okay.
Because it kind of creates that figure
Oh,
eight
okay. That's
infinite
pretty
symbol.
cool.
So you can do it either way. I tend to hold them separately, but I know a lot of people will link them together.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we inhale for the count of 10. It doesn't matter if you count fast or slow. It's the right count for you on how you normally count to 10.
Right.
Then you hold that breath for a count of 10. Exhale for a count of 10. Hold again for a count of 10. And to do this as a complete process, you do it 10 times. And with each breath, so when you inhale, right, you're starting to clear those memories, cleaning your mind, releasing conflicts you have inside yourself, releasing the negative vibrations. You know, you're bringing yourself back to a 0 state little by little.
Okay. So would you go into this with an intention?
You can.
Okay.
Even if you don't have an intention, it'll still work.
Oh,
Because that's
amazing.
the great thing about this process is you can just go, you know what, something doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Or a big one they taught in the course was if you're going on a plane trip, you know, and you want to make sure the plane gets there safe and sound, you would do this before you take off, because it helps release that negative thoughts of something could go wrong. It helps release that negative energy around you. And again, when you go on the plane with that positive energy, it naturally radiates to everyone around you. So you can have an intention. So if you're focusing on one specific thing, perfect, focus on that. If you just go, something feels wrong, I don't know what it is, but I should clean on that, you can do just that, and it'll start cleaning whatever it is that's bringing on that feeling.
Okay. Well, there are 4 different parts of this, and from the original Oponopono, there are 4 phrases. Could you, or would you, when you're inhaling, think of one, exhaling, think of another?
I would, yeah. So the best way to describe it is 4 corners of the universe.
4 corners of the universe.
And those 4 corners include I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you.
All right.
So each one, and you'll find that it can be hard sometimes to be, I'm counting to 10 and saying I love you. If you can do it just for maybe the first 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Then just focus on the breathing, because your subconscious mind is going to associate it naturally with breathing in is I love you.
Yeah.
Holding it is I'm sorry. Exhaling is please forgive me. And the second hold is thank you.
Wow.
So it can be hard
cool.
trying to.
That's pretty cool. I think some of us might have already started, but for the audience, let's do this. Let's try this right here, and do this. Let's do this breathing. So I'm gonna moderate and tell you to inhale and hold and all that. So let's do this together. Ready? Inhale for a count of 10. I love you. Hold for a count of 10. Sorry. Please forgive me.
Exhale.
Exhale for a count of 10. I'm sorry. And hold for a count of 10. Thank you. Let's try this again. Inhale for that count of 10. I love you is on your mind. Hold for that count of 10. I'm sorry is on your mind. Exhale for that count of 10. Please forgive me is on your mind. And then one more hold for the count of 10. And thank you. If you want to, you can spend just another moment doing it yourself. I think that some of you are starting to feel this. If you went in there with an intention, think about that intention and see how it might be transformed from the first time you thought about it. Very good. So that was the hot process. So let me tell you, I actually have a different process of hot breaths. I mean, it is breathing, but it's something a little different. But it has a similar effect, but it doesn't have the four corners, and that's the difference between that. Blue solar water. Now, what is this all about?
So
I got my blue solar water.
I got mine. Mine's not as big as Kevin's, but yeah, the blue solar water is great for healing because all it takes is a blue glass bottle, no metal on the cap. Dr. Hulen teaches it as inspiration on why there's no metal. You fill it with regular tap water, then you stick it out, really out in the sun's the best, you know, but if you can't get the sunlight, an incandescent light bulb, he specifies it's not LED or the ones above, fluorescent.
Fluorescent, yeah.
Can't be though, there has to be sunlight or the incandescent. And you just let it absorb the energy for at least an hour. Some people will do it longer, but he said an hour is a minimum. And as it does that, the sun hits it, it starts to remove the toxins in the water, filling your body with healing energy. Now, if you think of our body in general, we're made up of, it's like 60, 70% water as people. And all it takes is one drop of the blue solar water to solarize everything it touches. So, you know, let's say you're cooking pasta, right? You just put a little bit in the pasta while it's cooking, and it'll solarize the water the pasta's cooking and giving healing energy in the entire meal. If you're having a party, you got fruit punch, pour a little bit in the fruit punch, it puts healing energy. And it's amazing because people told stories on how they did that, and they seemed to have the best party ever because everyone was just in better moods, everyone was having fun, and it was just a very memorable experience. Other people put it in their coffee. You know, I tend to put in everything. I have a bottle for myself that I drink out of too. And I notice I feel better for a few reasons. One, every time I grab this bottle, all I can think about is I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
I know, that gets anchored on it, right?
It gets anchored.
That's amazing.
And then the second part is I find myself drinking more water, so I'm hydrated more, which naturally makes me feel better too. So there's a lot of healing properties beyond just that energy, that the healing energy it puts into the water. It is so much more, and it's powerful. and it's an amazing thing to have. You know, even just looking at it, I keep it on my desk at work, and every time I even look at it, I find myself cleaning just naturally. It just reminds me throughout the day to always be cleaning.
That's pretty cool. That is really cool. Same cleaning as I love you. That is awesome.
Yeah. So this next one, redefining your reality. Kevin, you talked about it earlier, how we have that mind map and we see things in certain ways.
Right, through our filters.
Through our filters. And the great thing is we're people, right? We have 100% responsibility to change or stay stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So we can stay in that filter or we can change it. And the great part is really all you got to do if you see that kind of fork in the road where you're like, I don't like where this is heading,
Mm-hmm.
you're the director of your own reality. So you literally go, cut, and you go, how am I going to act differently? And that cut interrupts what's going on in your mind. And it allows the cleaning to take place. It allows you to ask yourself questions like, you know, do I really believe, you know, let's say I'm not good enough. Do I really believe that? You know, where did that come from? Could I think about this differently? And once you start thinking about it differently, your certain emotions are coming up and you start cleaning on those emotions. And when you clean on the emotion, things change, you know, your thoughts shift, your beliefs shift, and you're redefining your reality by cleaning the moment where you go, you know what, this is something I got to clean on.
Wow.
And it's a powerful, powerful tool in your everyday life. Now, personally, I wouldn't yell cut out loud because people might look at you funny, but in your mind, just notice it. You can say cut in your mind and go, I know this is heading down the path I don't want.
Yep.
Why is it going down that? What do I have in me that's dragging me down that way?
Yeah.
And you can start to clean on that, removing it, ending that blockage, so you're free to go the direction you want to go.
Right. You know, when I was doing Oponopono before, the biggest thing I realized is it brings such an awareness. It's such an awareness of those thoughts that come up in your mind.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you say, oh, and I wasn't saying cut, but all of a sudden I was realizing I'm thinking this way and I need to clean.
Yeah.
And that was my way of just changing it right there.
Yeah. And it happens really quick too when you start doing it.
It does.
It's not usually a drawn out process. It's a very quick one where you can find out really, you know, are you just thinking of the worst case scenario or are you thinking of the best case scenario? Are you, who's in control of this thought, right? You know, there's certain thoughts we have where even I'll go, man, that sounds like my dad.
Right.
And knowing that, I'm allowed to go, you know what? I'm going to clean on that because I want to be me, my best self.
Yeah.
And it removes that barrier of thinking like someone else. It lets me think like me, act like me, my best me. So
I like that. I like that. That's really cool. So redefining your reality. So you're changing your reality with this. And meditate. A lot of us already know about meditation, but it sounds like meditation is very important in helping you clean and stay clean.
Yeah. So, you know, they recommend, even I recommend that you meditate for roughly 10 minutes a day, you know, at the minimum. And I find for myself, the best time to do this is at night when I'm going to bed, because I usually fall asleep meditating, and there's no more powerful message to fall asleep to than going to your inner child going, I want you to clean these memories for me.
Yeah.
You know, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. As you're falling asleep, you're meditating, right? You have no electronics around you. You're just in the zone, not being distracted. You know, you're allowing that inspiration to come in you while you clean, while you sleep.
Wow.
It's really powerful because you're going to wake up the next day. And, you know, for me, sometimes I have these really weird dreams because I can tell it's cleaning the memory.
Right.
And my subconscious mind, my inner child, just working through it, going, yeah, I don't need that. And, you know, I'm over this one. And it's amazing when you do it consistently because you're going to find those memories clean really easy.
Wow. That's amazing. And you got something here called memory cleaning recordings. Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
So this is great because this is something you can find online. This is something you can make yourself. This is something, a lot of people can create. We could probably create it. It's important to understand that music, right? Music is a very powerful tool in our lives. It brings up emotions, it brings up thoughts, it brings up feelings. And when you listen to music at 432 hertz, right, that is considered to be a very superior tuning that makes the music way more pleasant. But it also has this vibration to it that brings us back to our zero state naturally. If a lot of people know about like the singing bowls and gongs, they naturally vibrate at 432 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
So it naturally brings your body to that same frequency. Because when you hear it, our bodies naturally start mirroring it.
Wow.
And it gives off that same energy back. So you hear 32 hertz, 432 hertz, you give off 432 hertz, which is a healing vibration. Because the vibrations, when you bring it to your mind, your body, your soul, it can't do anything except alter what you feel and what's going on inside. You find it naturally starts reducing stress, anxiety, depression. It heals people physically. That vibration naturally brings people back to their perfect self, which is healthy.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So when you take all of that and then you add words to it, now it could be adding the words, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just repeating it over and over for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It becomes very powerful because you're allowing it to be at that perfect frequency of healing, of cleaning, of rejuvenating. And then, as you get more used to it, you can add in specific things of healing for confidence, healing because you want to lose weight, for depression, for anxiety, for anger, because your mind's going to go through those memories of, what made me angry last time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, when that guy cut me off in the middle of the road. And it's going to start cleaning on that, going, you know what? Maybe he was in a hurry. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe
Right.
And it starts cleaning on that without you even realizing it, because it's just bringing you back to that non-judgmental, that infinite possibility state.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. That's amazing. So we learned a lot about these extra cleaning tools which really help this whole Oponopono work. What we talked about is law of attraction on steroids. And it's amazing things that law of attraction can do. There was years ago when I bought my first house, we had this wonderful dog, and we lived in a very urban area, and so I would take her for a walk, but once in a while I'd take her out to the other part of town that was a very, very nice part of town with mansions and everything like that. And I'd take her for a walk. And I remember specifically one time saying to myself, I was standing in a place and said, I want to live here one day. Later on, 18 years later, when we were looking to move out of that house, we were looking all over the city and stuff like that for houses. And just by a total thing of luck, we saw this open house sign in an area of town, and we went down, and the open house is already closed, but we got in there, and before we knew it, we were buying the house. 3 months after I bought the house, I walked up the street to the top of the street where I was living, and I looked around and said, oh my God, this is the exact spot I said to myself, I want to live here someday. That was 18 years. Law of attraction works so much more effective and faster here. But as you've seen, as you've heard of some of the stories, it's not just attracting stuff to you.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just attracting stuff to you and your goals and objectives. You told an incredible story of what happened on 9/11.
yeah.
Would you mind telling the audience that?
There were a couple who they own a financial company, and they do Oponopono for themselves to help attract more clients, great clients, friendly clients, the best clients in the world. And it was amazing. On 9/11, they had 14 of their clients who were supposed to be on the plane miraculously all show up into their office, unscheduled. They all, for whatever reason, got their signals crossed. They all thought they had meetings that day, and all 14 of them were not on the plane where they should have been. And
Wow.
you know, again, you can call that coincidence if it was one or two.
Yeah.
But it was 14
of their own clients would have been on that plane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And all for whatever reason, they were in their office. And you know, at the time they're like, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, "We have a meeting," and they're like, "There's no meeting." There's a little frustration going on.
Yeah.
But you know what? The moment they saw the news, all that frustration disappeared.
Right.
And they were so grateful that that happened. That energy was out there going, you know what? We're going to keep our clients safe. We're going to keep them happy. We're going to keep them coming. And that's exactly what it did.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So it's not just a law of attraction as we think about it for attracting things into our lives. It's for making the lives of ourselves and others around us much better, much safer. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's something that I do before I see any of my clients.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, I go, what attracted that client to me that I can heal on before they come into my office? And it's an amazing thing to happen because you start healing the process before they even get there. So when they get there, they're already beginning to heal. And you just continue on with that healing while
That's
they're there.
really, really cool. I love that. All right. With all that said, you know, everything that we've given you here, you can take right now and start it and get the effects of law of attraction. But you know, some people like to get challenged and they like to have some mentoring and hand-holding. So are you ready for a 30-day challenge for rapid transformation? What is this 30-day challenge we're talking about? There'll be a membership to a closed Facebook group for 30 days. Closed meaning the only people who are in it are the people that have signed up for the 30-day challenge and Peter and I. You get to collaborate with other members and coaches, being Peter and I. So collaborating and getting feedback and saying, hey, I tried this and it worked. Wow, that's great. You'll inspire other people and other people inspire you. Also, you say, well, you know, I'd really like to try it on this. And maybe you have 2 or 3 people doing something at the same time.
Yeah.
I would imagine that you have several people doing Oponopono on the same thing. It must be ultra powerful.
Yeah, you think of it this way, 100 billion cells, all focus on one thing. You have 5 people, that's what, 500 billion cells?
Yeah.
Working for the same thing. It only can make it so much more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Weekly coaching calls. So we'll have weekly 1.5-hour coaching calls with the group, and it's going to be a small group. It's not going to be hundreds of people, you know that. So we'll be able to, Peter and I, be able to coach you on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish and how you're going about it. Weekly themes and assignments. Each week we're going to have a theme for the week, and we'll have that feedback coming in. And this is going to be really amazing the way it's going to be done. There's going to be lessons and tasks. So we are going to be doing things with blue solar water. It's not just going to be something random. You go pick up some water and put it in the sun. We're going to teach you exactly how to do it. This thing alone is, if that's the only thing you learned in 4 weeks, you come out of there saying, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, that I got this. Believe me, I know this. Peter knows that. Wow, I was blown away. Tracking individual goals. We're going to help you with goal setting. We're going to help you with tracking the way any good coach would do. But these goals are going to be supercharged. These goals are going to be supercharged. What is the value of what you'll be receiving? The coaching calls with Kevin and Peter for our own businesses, the time we spend. This will be over $1,500 worth of coaching calls. 2 separate webinars. We're going to have some webinars in there too to go even further. and the assignments and specific Oponopono lessons that we'll be spending time with you on. There's another value. You know, the whole value of this, if it was Peter and I charging individual clients or even some group clients, because I do group training, the whole value would be approximately $2,300. And so all the investment is for this 30-day challenge. 30 days with Peter and I as your coaches, holding your hand through this so that, you know, you can walk off here and I tell you, you can use those 4 or 5 phrases now. And if you do it diligently, you're going to get what you want. But are you going to do it diligently? Wouldn't it be nice to have someone who's going to hold you accountable for what you need to do?
Yeah.
Right? I was telling Peter just today, I said, you know, when I learned Ho'oponopono 8, 9 years ago, I wish that I had someone to coach me. I wish that I had someone who knew all of this the way it is presented here, because I would be unbelievable right now.
It's nice because it gives you the ability to get a solid foundation to have those transformations quickly, you know, because it's always one thing, you know, you know how to do something, but you get nervous. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Am I forgetting this? Am I forgetting that? And this gives you the nice solid foundation for 30 days, which creates an awesome habit, a habit that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And you never have to worry about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? You know, you have, you know, no more excuses for really not attracting what you want. You know, you have everything will be given to you for success.
Yeah.
Which is important for you, you know, because it makes your life so much easier. It makes the 30 days more effortless. You know, you don't have to go, man, did I do that? It's no, we're there to help you, to show you, to teach you, to make sure you're on point for what you want.
Right. I've given you a couple examples. Other things that I was working on with Ho'oponopono was the number of clients, and all of a sudden I started getting more clients. I got that $2,000 of something I just sold that I've been trying to sell for months. If you're working on anything monetary, you're going to get that return on advance long before that return on your investment, long before that. So, yeah, I think, you know, I think it's well worth it. You know, you were asking me a couple questions earlier about if someone just got.
Yeah, you know, if someone was just there to hold your hand, right, to really make sure you understood it, to make sure you could do it easily, naturally, you know, would it be worth it to spend that $100 to have that security? You know, I would think so.
Yeah.
And it's something I wish someone had when I was learning, really, to hold my hand through it.
Me too.
You know, if this challenge helped you to heal, right, even to forgive when you don't even know what was holding you back, that would be worth it, to have someone there to be pushing you on, to congratulating you, to not to feel alone in your progress.
If you can get rid of something you've been holding on to for a long time, this investment is a lot less than I charge my clients to come see me.
Yeah. It's amazing because, you know, I think it's sad, you know, to not want to receive the change you desire, right?
Yeah.
You know, especially to be able to do it with such ease, with such guidance, with such, you know, effortlessness, to really get what you want, whether it be money, relationships, health, less stress, better job. You know, it's a shame to miss out on that. You know, because really what I want, and I'm sure Kevin does too, but for me, I love seeing people get more excited about their life. You know, I love seeing people just create their legacy for what they want in life. You know, not having to go, man, you know, what am I going to leave for people to remember me by? Yeah. All that gets erased because you know what's going to happen.
Right.
You know,
right.
And it's amazing to know you're going to have that bigger brighter future.
Exactly. By the way, this thing about getting people together in this Facebook group and collaborating and sharing ideas and results. I did some studies on, for weight loss with the gastric band and the gastric bypass and everything. And, there are a lot of people that aren't successful with that. But, the people that are successful with that are the people who join the groups afterwards, and stay with the groups and for the while, and they keep their weight off.
Yeah.
It's something about that group dynamic.
It's
And
that energy.
people, that energy.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what that's all about. Now, Peter and I would like you to be decisive about this. So anyone who wants to invest in this is the way you're going to let me know, and I'm going to direct you to the right path. So my email address is kevin.martin@poseffects.com, POSEFFECTS.com. I will direct you to the right path. And not only will I do that because you watch this live, because you'll watch this tonight. All right, you send that to me, and I will not only send you the link to register for it, I will send you the discount code to get 25% off of this. So the investment is now only $75 for the 30 days. For the 30 days. I will guarantee you when you're at the end of the 30 days, you're going to be wondering, well, can I come again? Or, geez, this was so good. How do I get further?
Yeah.
So, yes, send me an email, and I will send you the link to register, and I will send you the $25 discount. By the way, both Peter and I are coaches. We're not just, oh yeah, we know how Oponopono are going to help you out. All right, we know how to help people out from a coaching perspective. So you get that in here, which the value, if you go look up coaches and you find out how much you're going to pay for 30 days, you're not going to find anyone under $500.
Mm.
So that's it. Now, I do want to give you all the time. By the way, this is the place I'm going to be sending you to, but you send an email to me first, and I will send you what you need to do. Now, let's open it up. Let's open it up for questions. I think this goes for, Q&A. All right, so you can unmute yourself if you have questions. Peter and I love to take any questions and try to answer them for you. And if we can't, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you and thank you.
Hi there.
Hi there.
How do I send a chat? How do I send my message?
Send your message to Kevin.
I said,
email.
No, I put something in the chat thing here.
Oh.
And it says to everyone, but I can't send it. How do you send it?
Since where is chat here? Hold on.
If you go down the bottom of the screen, if you put your arrow at the bottom of your screen, there'll be like chat, share, participants. Do you see that?
Oh, share, yeah.
Yeah, so just go to chat.
Click on that.
And click on that, and then the chat will come up.
Okay.
And then you type in the bottom.
See the chat.
I typed it in. It says to everyone, but
and then hit return. Oh, did you want?
There it goes. I got it. Thank you.
Sue.
That is awesome.
Sue, that is awesome.
Oh God. Boy, did
That
bring
is
something
incredible.
up big for me. Oh my Lord, I never thought of it.
Wow.
What came?
Something just happening during this. We love
Yes.
this.
What happened? What came up for me? I lied to him. I said I was doing the triage. I wasn't going to try to explain this to him. So when I texted him back, I said, "Please forgive me." And I said I'd talk to him later. But what came up was, from the time he was about 7, I was a single parent, and being a nurse, I had to work all the different shifts. and it was continuous. And here I am still working every weekend. So I can't get to see my granddaughter, and he still gets upset. He's been upset all these years because of the hours that I had to work. I had to work to keep a roof over our head, but that's definitely something I'm going to be using this for.
That is awesome.
I have a question about when you do the actual Oponopono. I've done it before. I actually ended a relationship that I could not end, and I did Oponopono for 3 days, and just straight. I was in bed, I was crying, I was doing every emotional release, whatever was coming up, and I was so connected to my higher self and to the divine that I was able, at the end of those 3 days, to do what I had been unable to do for 8 years. So
Wow.
I know that this stuff is, you know, incredibly, incredibly powerful and an amazing blessing. The way that I always understood using it is to be, you know, sort of to have something in mind or someone in mind. And tonight I joined you because I realized that what I really, really want to focus on is forgiving myself. You know, for buying into all the bullshit, for placing limiting beliefs on myself, for internalizing things that are not mine, you know, for all of the hardship that was kind of, you know, I mean, of my own making in many ways. So, you know, so that's kind of where I'm coming from, but I don't know where I left off with that.
Susan, thank you for sharing that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was. Thanks.
Someone wanted to know what the 5th mantra was. So it is, I forgives myself. The I being divine, you know, the higher self. It's not I forgive myself, it's forgives. I forgives myself. So that's where you've come out. The higher consciousness connected to divine actually joins you in forgiving that. So that's a wonderful way to forgive yourself, you know, from that point of view.
It really is, yeah.
So, yeah, I think of it as the I am.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually where it comes
Think
from.
about it is the I am forgives myself. It might be a little easier to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So if you have several issues you want to work on, do you just surrender them all, or do you have to be specific to work on one at a time?
That is one where it has to feel right for you. You know, so
Okay.
some people like focusing on one at a time, but you can also have no intention and just want all healing to come in you at once.
Okay.
And as you heal, you're gonna find that one naturally affects the other. You know, you can't heal one part and not another part. It's gonna start spreading through all the things. But yeah, you know, that's where some people go, you know what, I want to focus on this right now. This part right here is important. This is important, but not as important as this. Other people go, you know what, it's a broad stroke. And they're like, I just want to clean each one as it goes. And you'll just find they all naturally start healing each other.
And shoot, I had another question that just completely went out of my head.
Where do you
Okay,
find
Lisa, I forgive you.
The question cleaned itself. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
where do you find the blue bottles?
Sue, I just ordered 2 online, so you can have one of them.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I like, being
Thank you.
proactive. That is awesome. Look, Peter's drinking his.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking mine out of the bottle. So, any other questions, comments?
That was good.
Oh, I remember what I was saying. When I did it originally, I closed my eyes and went through the 10 count. And it was like doing EFT or the emotional freedom technique that I do. I could literally feel the sensations moving through my body. And I found myself yawning as I was releasing. And
Wow.
it made me really tired. So I just wanted to bring awareness that at least that was my experience, and I don't know if you find that a common occurrence.
I know that quite a few people, it gets that very relaxed feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, when they are that relaxed, can easily fall asleep, especially at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. It's one where when people have trouble sleeping, I usually recommend that's what they do, because it kind of changes the thought process from being overwhelming, and it slows it down. By the time you get through all 10, your mind's calm. You can usually drift off pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't feel that. I feel when I'm finished, I don't have that emotional feeling towards whatever it is anymore. But the interesting thing I was telling Peter is, you know, the various things I've been working on, when I do get them and I go to think about them, all I think about saying is thank you and I love you. Thank you and I love you. Thank you and I love you. I no longer have to clear the rest of it because I've received it, and it's so natural. It just comes up when I think of it and say, oh, thank you and I love you. It's a wonderful way. I had one student early on when I was teaching this just for forgiveness. She says, you know, I don't feel comfortable saying I'm sorry, please forgive me. So she came back a week later. She says, I've been walking around town during my work day and everything like that, just saying thank you and I love you. Thank you and I love you. And thank you and I love you. She says it's the most marvelous way to go around, walk around, is say that to yourself. And it's a wonderful feeling. So yeah, there's going to be times when it's really apparent in you, and there's going to be times when, you know, you just got this thought, your subconscious mind says, oh yeah, you've done enough. And I do them separate. I do them separate, and then, you know, once in a while I do them all together. Any other questions?
Oh, that was
Well, I just want to say thank you for all that you offered tonight, and I'm looking forward to the 30-day challenge myself and getting on board with that.
Fantastic.
same here. Ditto.
All
Too.
right. Well, if there's no other questions,
Yeah, I just want to say thank you also, Kevin. I just got unmuted here. My dogs are barking. I got to stay muted as much as possible.
well, actually clean on those guys. Dogs barking bothering me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you.
They'll
Sounds like a
probably
plan.
they'll stop barking.
Yeah, they have already. Gee, you guys
See?
are amazing. All you have to do is say, I'm telling you. Now I'm addicted. I'm going to be calling you guys every night.
Peter and I really appreciate you all being on here. Thank you very much.
Thank you both so much.
Oh,
Thank you.
And
Kevin, I
I'll
do
be sending
have-
out an email. I'll be sending out an email tomorrow at some point. The recording is going to be available only for 3 days. So when
Okay.
it's out there, it's not going to be out there for long.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you. All
Good
right.
night.
Night.
And yeah, there we go.